song from Dylan's first big album, The Freewheeling Bob Dylan, from 1962, and without giving too much away, I think this song was recorded on the day my wife was born. It's phenomenally fast. I don't really understand why he played it this quickly, except of course he was very young, he had a lot of energy, and he was a man on a mission, and it sounds as though he's got something to prove here, but 108 beats a minute, more or less. In my beautiful Bob Dylan Complete, I've tabbed the whole of the intro out, and that'll give you a really good insight into what he does picking-wise. I'm not going to do quite what he does for a couple of reasons. Dylan picks a Travis pattern sort of back to front. It's unlike almost everybody else. So most people would do this on a chord of C, for instance. Now I'm slowing this down, obviously, but my thumb is going to move from the 5th string to the 4th string. And in between, I'm alternating with fingers, the 2nd finger on the 2nd string and 1st finger on the 3rd string. I'm going to play the lower thumb note and the upper finger note. So that's an outside pair, we might call that. Then I'm going to come inside, so up to the 4th string with my thumb and down to the 3rd string with my 1st finger. That's what pretty much everybody else would do. Dylan kind of mixes and matches. He plays the lower thumb note and the lower finger note, then the upper thumb note and the upper finger note. And I really have to concentrate to get that together. If I just use my 2nd finger, maybe, with the thumb, I can kind of do it there, but it's not what I would naturally do, and it's not what I'm going to do in this tutorial. The other thing to say is that the speed of the thing is almost about there. Is in real contrast to, for instance, Dave Van Ronk, who recorded Hang Me. I've done a video on that. He was one of the early influences, one of the people that Dylan mixed with when he first came to New York. Hang me, oh hang me, I'll be dead and gone. Hang me, oh hang me. It's a really relaxed, kind of laid-back sound, which is a lot more charming, frankly. It does require that you play precisely, because the slower you play, obviously the mistakes last that much longer. So I'd encourage you just to try and play with precision and accuracy before you speed everything up. But the template for this, for me, is what everybody else would do, which is outside pair, inside pair. And I might add alternating bass. So instead of just going 5-4 with a thumb, I might bring that thumb down. So I'm bringing my 3rd finger of the left hand down to the 3rd fret of the bottom string. He does a bit of that. A few other things to think about. He does some hammer-ons onto things like A minor, maybe the top note of a G7. If he's playing that, he'll hammer that on. His F, I'm pretty sure he plays his F this way. He certainly does that most of the time with a thumb wrapped round, so he's not going to hit the top string there because that's not going to be part of the chord. I play a straight bar chord for F, so I have the luxury of being able to include the top string. His G7 often, you'll find this, is actually more like this, where he's got the notes you'd expect on the bottom 2 strings, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the bottom string, but with a little finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. That's the F. Rather than putting it up here, you'll hear this with Paul Simon and the Boxer, for example, as well. It just brings the note that is the difference between G and G7, that F, into the middle of the chord and creates slightly mellower sound. So you're not obliged then to pick the top string to hear the difference. And D7 over F sharp, he'll probably do it this way. I'm more likely to do it that way. You know, you do it your way, but he brings the thumb round that allows him to get a nice F sharp here. You'll hear this kind of thing on Blowing in the Wind, for instance, where with the capo on the 4th fret, the music is moved right up to the top strings with the D chord, and it does start to sound a bit bright and brittle. So adding on either a D or a D7, the F sharp at the bottom here gives it a bit of heft, gives the chord a bit of bottom end that it wouldn't otherwise have. So those are a few pointers. Let's get on and look at the song. So let's just map out the structure of the verse. There are 32 bars in all and 8 lines of lyric, so it's 4 bars per line of lyric, but each bar really only has 2 beats. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. Let's just tackle 8 bars at a time for 2 lines each. We get a bar of C, G, and then 2 bars of A minor. Well, it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. Then it's 2 bars of F and 2 of G. If and you don't know by now. And a little detail, as we move from the 2 bars of A minor down to the G, we get a passing note, A minor with G in the bass on the final beat of that. So really it's, well, it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. There's the G in the bass. I'm using my little finger there on the 3rd fret of the bottom string to 2 bars of F. If and you don't know by, up to G. And we have a similar thing, starts the same way. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. And again, that passing note, but this time we go to D7 with an F sharp in the bass. It leads down there, that's quite nice. It'll never do some, 2 bars of G, how? But the 2nd bar of G is really a G7. Okay? Then we get C for 2 bars and C7 for 2. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, F for 2. Look out your window, and it's D9 over F sharp. So it's like a D7 over F sharp, but with an open top string. I'll be gone, and I'd prefer to do it this way. 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. My 2nd finger is going to come down here to the 2nd fret of the bottom string, and then my 3rd finger will be, where's that, on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string with that open top string. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. That's it. Now we have a bar of C and G. You're the reason I'm, and then it's 1 beat each of A minor and A minor over G, traveling to F on. Finally, it's C but with G in the bass. Don't think to G twice, it's all, and we finally have 2 bars of C. Right. Don't think twice, it's alright. Very classical ending, in fact. For the A minor over G, you could bring the 3rd finger down, which means you're left with an A minor 7 at the top here, or you could bring your little finger down. It doesn't really matter. Let's have the whole of the 1st verse at a fairly sedate tempo. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. If and you don't know by now. Well, it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. It'll never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. And unlike many Dylan songs, actually the verses are structured all the same way, precisely the same. So let's move this up a gear and just play again at a fairly sedate tempo, but with a bit of Travis picking. And I'm going to do this. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. If and you don't know by now. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. It'll never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on, but don't think twice, it's alright. Now the intro itself is slightly different. Bar of C, then G7, and then our A minor over G to F, then C over G, G7, and C. So in fact it's just the 8 bars of the verse, the final 8 bars of the verse played as an intro, and that's pretty much what he does when he does his little harmonica thing in between the verses too. One thing you might like to try and do in the G7 bars is hammer on into the second beat from playing an open top string to that with the first finger on the top string. In fact, he puts a bass note in at the same time. I find that difficult. Yeah, more or less. Okay, let's have the intro, one verse, and then the intro again as an instrumental to finish. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, even you don't know by now. Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, it'll never do somehow. When a rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on, but don't think twice, it's alright. And that's it.